All right, welcome guys to another episode of Two Dumb Dogs. Thank you for joining us. This is your host Toy in the building, and we got Greg as usual. What's going on, buddy?
Was a rough day, but it's over and ready to ready for tomorrow.
Ready for tomorrow? What do you want to
And
talk about today, or you want to talk about something else?
I want to talk about a lot of things, but my thoughts are a little bit jumbled up right now. Shout out to my brother, uh, Aaron.
Oh yeah,
Today's the day of his passing, and I didn't have time to think about you, and I do have you in my heart, and I love you very much. You are missed. Shout out to my
amen.
dad. His day was actually a couple days ago, and it's been a November is always hard, but
Hmm.
with Sophia being born, my sister's third child on the in the beginning of November, it's nice to have
Balances it
something to
out.
smile about in November.
Yeah.
It didn't make it easier going through this, but today's the day, and I know tomorrow the batteries will be recharged, and here we go again.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I feel you on that, brother. It's it's been a very weird month for me as well, like as far as emotionally. Um, and just coincidental, you know? Do you ever get that feeling like I don't know,
Bad timing.
huh?
Bad timing.
No, not per se bad timing, just like I guess it's that feeling that leaves you saying, "Oh wow, it really is a small world" or something like that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
so the situation is that Sammy wanted to take me to this store called the Ugly Box Store. This is completely a capitalism idea. It's consumerism at its finest. So the premise of the Ugly Box Store is that the store buys all these pallets from Amazon and Walmart.com and shit of returned items, I guess, that are like they still work or whatnot, but they got them at a super discounted price. And all these guys are doing is just breaking the pallets down and throwing them in bins, like a good 6 foot by 4 foot or like 2 meters by 1 meter box. And they just dump it out, and then they open the doors up at 12 o'clock, and everybody just floods in, and then they just rummaging through it, and then everything in the box is $7. So everything on this side of the wall is $7. Everything on this side of the wall is like individually priced. But like they just throw the shit in there. Like I got I got this. It's a case for my VR set that normally is like $40. Well, well, there. Got my VR. It's not working that well. But yeah, I got my VR. I got a case for my VR set. I got these two really nice microphones. Ah, this fucking black screen. Yeah. I got two really nice wireless microphones for $7. That was $7. I got a keyboard and a mouse for $7. And I got a binder for the 9-year-old for Christmas for her Pokemon cards. So she's got
Okay.
to put those in, and I got a photo album for Sammy for Christmas because I like the problem I've been having with Sammy is that every time I buy her a piece of technology, she won't fucking like do the sign up thing. Like I bought this digital calendar and everything, and spent like $200 on it, whatnot. But she hasn't fucking downloaded the app onto her phone so that she can like update it from her phone. And so my thinking for Christmas was to go backwards, and I got her a photo album. I'm like, well, here you go. Since you don't want to use technology, I went the other way and just got you a photo album so you can put the stuff on your phone into a photo album. But either way, so this is my first time going to the store like this. I'm already uncomfortable because like I don't like that whole like flea market vibe where everybody's just like rummaging around, bumping into each other. It felt like Black Friday, you know. But I end up running into my old boss that I did the painting with. And I haven't seen
Okay.
him. I haven't seen him since I was married. And
Okay.
like I don't know, it was a refreshing refreshing interaction. Like the fact that this is the first time I ever decided to go to this store finally, and then I'm sitting there, and then amongst all the people that are shoved in there, he actually recognizes me and then bothers to say hello. And it was just, I don't know, nothing really changed. I felt good walking away from it. It was like, yeah, man, I'm doing my own thing. I'm still doing the cleaning and shit. And then he was wanting to talk about the cars and everything because he sold me that truck that the ex-wife was using.
Okay.
But yeah, I told him I know I sold it. I sold it for twice what you sold it to me, what I paid you for it.
Damn.
So
Damn.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't like too harsh on like trying to roast him or anything, but it's just like I don't know, because that was a friendship that like he reached out a couple months after he fired me and everything and wanted to make up, but I was just like, I don't know, something deep down inside me said, just move on. Just like don't go back to that bridge. It's not there's nothing on that on the other side that you want. And I'm like, yeah, and I still feel that way
What made
today.
him what made him fire you in the first place?
Oh, that was hilarious. Okay, so just some context. Okay, this man he's a small time business a small time self-employed painter, and he hires specifically like people that need that are on their last leg, like people that just got out of jail, people that are on probation, people that are struggling, because he helps them out. He's willing to pay them by the day and pay them on cash, and let them use the vehicle to get to and from work to make sure that they actually have a chance to like do the right
I
thing.
get it.
So like I commend him on that, and like I've always respected him for that. Like he doesn't have to. He could easily go and hire a bunch of middle schoolers that are just getting into the workforce, but he deals with these people because he feels like there's not other people out there. But anyways, okay, so with that being said, he had just hired this big man, like Andre the Giant size. Like, I mean, he had to have been like 6'7" at least, 6'7". So, and just he had a wrestler's physique. He's big guy, and we're on this job. I'm basically the foreman. Like whenever he's not there, I'm in charge because I'm the most experienced one, or the least liable one. Oh, sorry, need a drink. But yeah, so he hires a bunch of people. We're on a job, and this guy just got out of jail, and he doesn't have his license yet. But he was talking about buying a scooter, a 50cc moped for those that like no pedals. It's the little scooters that you see, like the cheapest ones that you can see like in India and stuff like that. Not the nice ones like that you see in Italy, but just the cheap Chinese ones. And he was asking the boss if it would be a good idea to buy one of those because you can get them for like $500 and then drive those on the street. And I came into the conversation while driving my scooter because I drove up with one. That's kind of what I think sparked the conversation. And
Okay.
he's like, and they tried to say that like you don't need a license to operate them on the road. And I just came straight out. I'm like, hey, bro, from speaking from experience, this is not my first scooter. The best way to think of it is you are not allowed to use the public roads if you do not have a license. It does not matter what vehicle you are using. If you can get above 15 miles an hour, you need a license. It is a privilege, not a right. And they wanted to argue with me that like, no, it says right here you don't need a motorcycle license. Like, yes, you don't need a motorcycle endorsement to drive it, but you need a standard operator's license to drive it.
Yeah.
That's the rule. Like the roads are a privilege. They're paid for by the tax people. If you don't pay your taxes, you don't get to fucking use them. Like that's the best way to think about it. That's what the cop explained to me because whenever I got pulled over in Florida, like they gave me a whole fucking a sheet. Like it had the moped, the the one with the pedals, then it had a dirt bike, then it had a bigger scooter, then it had a crotch rocket, and it went up in speed and size of the motor, and then it said the requirements that you needed and everything. And I'm like, he explained to me bright, like clear as day, like you cannot drive, like even getting away with the like the best thing that you can do is put a little motor on a bicycle, on a man-powered bicycle. You know, like the
Well, that's
e-bikes
not
are,
necessary because they got all these e-bikes now. You won't
yeah,
need to
but
go.
that's e-bikes for grown adults start out at like $1,000 if you actually plan on getting anywhere. You know,
Okay,
like you can buy a universal fit motor that goes on any bicycle for like maybe $200
not to catch you off the story, but is it really $1,000 for an e-scooter, for an e-bike?
an adult size one that can handle like over
Okay,
200 pounds
okay.
and actually
Just ma-
go faster than 25 miles an hour. Like if you're talking about the ones that like adults would use, my longboard. Like I got the biggest one that they could get, and that was like at $450. The cheapest one started at $100, but you got to consider your weight, how far you want to go, and how fast you want to go, and those all change. But anyways, how I got fired was because he got fed up with me trying to talk like I knew something. I'm like, dude, I do know something. I am sitting here. I am sitting on a scooter right now with a license and a tag and everything. I've been to the DMV. I've been pulled over. Why the fuck wouldn't you believe me? And anyway, so we got into a fight over that, and he's like, you know what? I'm fucking tired of your shit. Pack your shit up and go. Fucking, I don't need you here. And that's how he fired me, is because of a conversation that wasn't even work related.
wow.
And like that just points out why I didn't want to fix that bridge whenever he called me back after a while, because I'm like he freaks out over the smallest things, and he's really immature when it comes to that. And I'm like, I don't need that in my life. He's always go 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 go, and I'm just like, nah, man. I like to sit and think and fucking plan shit out. But yeah, but the moral of the story is that like, yeah, it's just crazy coincidence. I'm like, that's of all places, that's where I would see him. Like, I haven't seen him in like 3.5 years. Like, I
Got it.
haven't seen my ex-wife in
Well,
pretty
that
much
means that
since.
she's around the corner. You're gonna meet her in
That's
Publix or
what
some shit
I
like
mean.
this.
That's what it feels like. I mean, I don't know. It is a small world, and I try to make a point to fucking sit there and think about it and reflect on it when shit like that happens. Like, I mean, even in the fact that like the day that I proposed to my ex-wife, my ex-girlfriend showed up at the bar, and I hadn't seen her in like 2 years.
Okay, so
Well,
this
no,
is
it
a
had been like
recurring theme
nine
by you.
months. I hadn't seen her at all, and the one time that I do see her is the night that I planned on proposing. I'm like, that's some fucking fate shit right there.
Yeah, that's exactly what that sounds like. Oh,
But all right, but no, that's my story of like, yeah, it was just coincidence. But all in all, I spent $45 and I got plenty of good stuff. And then yeah, so what was your story, brother?
no, my brain is scrambled, man. I had something I wanted to talk about, but I'm not sure I want to. Oh my God, my hair. Good God, I do need a haircut, man. I think it's time for a haircut. Something.
Nah, you just need a treatment.
I just need.
Yeah, go to the spa, get your hair like oiled or whatnot. Go take a mud bath.
Well, you were talking about ex-wives, and I
Uh-huh.
don't want to say anything bad about my ex-wife because she knows about this podcast, and I have encouraged her in the past to listen in. Having said that, um, couldn't help but notice some things that have caused me to think about it a little bit deeper.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
that's perfect. Yeah. Okay. I know where you're going.
um, Me and my ex-wife have a very good relationship now. And it's wild to say it like that, but our relationship is 10 times better than it ever was when we were married. We're
Hmm.
just better this way. And everything's straight with David. Well, everything's straight with David with school. At home is a different story, which is a paradox of itself, and I'm working on it. But when
I feel you,
she
brother.
describes her problems to me, because sometimes she'll confide in me for whatever,
Uh-huh.
and I usually disagree with her issues somewhere along the line. It doesn't matter what it is,
Yeah.
but I always
But
disagreed with her
fundamentally,
point
yeah,
of
you
view.
disagree.
Yeah, I disagree with her point of view. Um, there was this the reason I think it was either today or yesterday. She's invited to go to her neighbor's house, and there was a thing that was set up, and um I think this our neighbor's mom was involved. Her neighbor's mom has a dog that plays with our dog. She was going to go up there, and then today she backed out of this because her neighbor told her that more people are coming, and she wasn't interested in being around all these people.
Hmm.
And I interpreted that situation. I'm like, oh, so you were invited to something. People are expecting you because they brought food for that amount of people.
Yeah.
And she said no. And it confused her neighbor when she's describing the story to me. It's dawning on me that she's quite comfortable with the fact that she makes other people uncomfortable. I
Yeah.
don't know how else to explain it. She's really good. She's okay with making people uncomfortable. And then when I'm telling her from my perspective, I'm like, look, it looks like that your neighbor said my family's coming over. And you're like, oh, fuck your family. I don't want to see that. And she looked at me and she was like, no, I don't want to be around all these people. I'll go up there when they leave and I'll have coffee
It's
with her
the
then.
it's the fact that she couldn't be bothered.
And
Yeah.
it dawned on me that one of the reasons there's a couple, but one of the reasons why we didn't work out the way we should have as a married couple is her instincts and my instincts do not align with each other at all. Something
Yeah.
like where she's comfortable making other people uncomfortable, I cannot do that. I do not have the psychological capabilities of putting myself in that kind of situation. That's just like living in an episode of The Office, and that is the most cringiest show I've ever seen in my
Yeah, but
life.
you talk loud and you know that it makes people uncomfortable.
Yeah, here, not in the States. Um,
I think what you're pointing out is
and
that she is fine with doing it on purpose. And if you are aware that that you are the cause of it, it gives you anxiety. But it does
yeah,
not give her. If
it does
anything,
not give her
it's
anxiety.
selfishness. Like I get to a point like, yeah, like a lot of people need to realize that you're not gonna make everybody happy. That's fucking impossible. You're gonna be the only one unhappy. And at some point it's like when you do mature, you realize like, okay, other people have no problems making me uncomfortable, like not on purpose, like we're having this problem with a 9-year old right now. Her personality is just like we're trying our hardest not to divide the love, like make sure that it's equal and everything. But it's like we went to breakfast this morning to our spot that we've been going to for like the last 3 weeks. Whenever she's at school, we take the 3-year old because she wants pancakes. And we're like, it's only cost $2 to feed her there. Like, yeah, like I got to feed the whole family for $20 today. And I'm like, that's fucking awesome. But we finally decided to take the 9-year old. I'm feeling because like I kind of felt bad about last night. That's a different story. But and she just ruins it for us. Like as soon as we sit down, we ask her to look at the menu and pick something out, and then she's like, I want a caramel roll and I want this and I want that. And I'm like, we know for good okay, one, we have to pay for all this. Everybody has to eat. You're not gonna That caramel roll costs more than your fucking meal does. And but as soon as we started telling her no, she fucking starts crying, like trying to cry. It's a bullshit cry. She just fucking tightens up her face and fucking and like basically hurts herself to get the tears to flow. And and I just pulled it. I'm like, all right, let's go home. Let's go home. Get up. We're not fucking doing this. And then and that set Sammy off because she's just like I don't think she could get over it this morning. But I don't know what to do with it, brother. Like I it's her personality is uncomfortable and it feels like she goes after that. It feels like as soon as you tell her something that annoys you, that's what she fucking focuses on. Now I know this is nothing like your wife or your ex-wife or your baby mama, but it's like some people are that way where like it's just there might as well be aliens to us, brother.
Man, you figured it out in a month with the kid. I can't believe it took me 8 years of marriage and 6 years of divorce combined for me to come to this conclusion. I I don't know. It
But
shouldn't
it is
take this long. to figure shit out.
Yeah, dude, you're not any different because it took me 4 years with my ex-wife. Like looking back at it now, it's like, yeah, we never agreed on anything. Like, yeah, we enjoyed a few things, like a few of the same things, but it's not like we even enjoyed them for the same reasons. It's like, yeah,
All those
and
compromises to try and force some kind of place to meet in the middle.
yeah,
That's not how it works. I wonder
uh,
why we were so hell bent on making things that were broken try and fix them or try and make them
it's
work. Why did we
society.
wait?
It's
Ah,
society. You see your friends around you coupling up and getting married and having kids, and you kind it kind of puts a little bit of pressure on you, like thinking like, oh, if it doesn't happen now, it's not gonna happen. And we're all like trying not to end up the old lonely man with no kids.
yeah. uh,
Because I
I
get
do.
that,
I
like,
am grateful. I am grateful for one thing. My
mm-hmm.
ex-wife painted a picture to me. Well, she taught me two things, one very bad thing and one very good thing.
All right,
What do you want to hear first?
let's hear the bad thing.
I'm evil.
You're evil.
I'm very good at being evil, and sometimes I enjoy being evil.
Okay. All right, we'll talk more about that. What's the good thing then?
The good thing is that she painted a picture of a human being that I will never ever give the time of day again, which made it very easy to put me in the situation that I am now. Now, I know that there's a crossroads between my ex wife and my current partner now. There is a person in between that. And I've already apologized to her here
Mm-hmm.
on the podcast last season. But because of the things that my ex wife portrayed to me as something that I couldn't function around correctly, I
Mm-hmm.
now have exactly the environment that I've always wanted. She pushed me in that direction.
Yeah,
Unintentionally or intentionally is irrelevant.
that's
Because of my
growth.
experience with her, she pushed me into the direction that I am. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful for that because now I'm in a place where I have the knowledge of what I don't like and what I really, really need.
Yeah, and I that's perfectly healthy, brother. I think that's what everybody needs to be doing. It's these people that keep dating the same person, but just a few little different things have changed. It's like often what we think we like is never good for us,
Wild how that works, huh?
right? Yeah. You want the cake, but you know it's not good for you. Eat the broccoli.
I think it's because we thought that we were going to die at a relatively young age, or at
Yeah.
least that's what I thought was going to happen. I
I
couldn't
didn't think
imagine
that.
living.
I mean, for me, I like for my marriage, it was I'll admit, like I learned a lot from it. Like going into it, like I don't know, I felt like it's never been difficult for me to like actually fall in love with somebody. Like that's never been a difficult thing for me. Realizing the depth of that love, that's a harder thing. I'll say that I loved my wife whenever we were married. Like I was in it 110%, you know? But the fact that I was in it all the way and I did everything that I felt that I could, and I still walk away feeling like, yeah, I couldn't have done anything else differently. But it comes to you realize that it's like fundamentally we weren't there. I tried to skip over a bunch of things and jump to the happy wife and business and everything like that instead of like actually asking her if that's what she wanted, you know? Like that was my problem with my marriage is that she never got her childhood, and this was her time to finally be free of her father, and all she viewed me as was a parental guidance that was doing nothing different than her father was, and it kind of turned her against me, I think. But now in this relationship is completely different. I mean, there's been a few Blizzard hoes in between. Shout out to them hoes. But
Shout out to them Blizzard hose. November is back.
yeah, we got a fresh powder this morning. Right as soon as I moved the Z out because I had to make room in the garage. It fucking snowed on us, but it's light fluffy one today. But I mean, I learned not to push things, not to force things. Like because I thought that just because she was submissive enough that everything else would work out. But it was to the point where like no, I couldn't ignore it anymore. um she kind of made me feel like she kind of gave me the perspective that I started looking at myself as evil. And I'm like, no, I'm not evil. Because in this relationship, I've done everything that I did back then, but I've gotten a completely different reaction as far as how it's accepted and everything. And like, I don't know, I don't want to jump to conclusions either, but it's like I don't know. This relationship has gotten significantly a lot better because I feel equal. I don't feel like I'm the only one doing the work here,
Isn't
and
it a
that
great
was
feeling?
that, yeah, it is. I mean, we're still dealing with the fact that like no, she's not me. She's a different person and I have to plan for that, just like she has to do that for me. But the fact is that she tries. She cares about the same things. Like this morning, she was more upset about Paisley than I was, which that kind of just reassures me that okay, she's doing this because she wants her daughter to be respectable. She wants it
But
better.
that she can express that emotion in front of you comfortably is a good sign.
Yeah, and that's a good thing too, is that we're not running away, we're not hiding our emotions. We've got a good way of like we take 5 minutes, feel the feeling, and then figure out how to digest it and regurgitate it. And
Are we
even
at the 30-minute? Rodney, I hate to interrupt you. Are we at the 30-minute mark now?
yeah,
Let's do the
you need a
thing.
break.
No, I don't need a break. I know that you got to pause it and we got to the
Okay.
other shit. All
All
right.
right, we'll be right back. All right. So where were we at? Just had to check on
To
the.
interrupt you, I just knew that we were at the halfway mark. Mhm.
Yeah. Well, we still had like 10 good minutes left. But yeah. So I mean, back to what we were talking about as far as like growing and learn and just learning about yourself and what you want out of a relationship. Like I feel like that's all you can hope for. It's like,
Me personally, what I didn't realize it to the depths that I was looking for, or I didn't realize how important it was until it was in my face. But I enjoy the brutal honesty. If that's I know that in the beginning that's a risk, but we've gotten through
yeah,
the
but
things, and it's there's a level of trust that I've never been able to express with another human being that
mm-hmm,
I am grateful for.
yeah.
Also, the surprises from sometimes with the brutal honesty comes the doubt. Did I take it too far? Was I too crass? Did I, way too, did I, was I too much of a drama queen maybe? And then the reply is something positively unexpected, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's the same emotion back where you then express the same feelings that you received, or just the
Are you talking about
same.
Bernadette?
Yeah,
Okay.
the we're brutally honest with each other, and it's
No, I get that. And
sometimes
I
cringy.
agree.
It's sometimes cringy, but because we don't hold it against each other, we're able to take that trust to an extreme that's really hard to take back. I
Mm-hmm.
can't explain it any other way. It's a wild thing that
Well,
it's very
I feel
important
like
to
it's a
me.
level of freedom. Like if you can be brutally honest, like I don't know, like sometimes I know I can be a little harsh with my jokes sometimes. Like I'm more committed to the laugh than I am like whose expense it is sometimes. But like I don't know, whenever she takes it with stride and she throws it right back at me, I'm like, all right, I deserve that. I'm glad that you can throw your punches back.
There was something else that's causing me a sense of relief in my head, but I don't know how to explain it. I'll just describe the situation.
Okay,
That makes this is not going to make any sense.
I'll try
So
it.
she was telling me about one of our trips, and she was describing where we're going to go in a circle, right?
Okay,
And
like
I
a
and
like
I
a
asked
walking
her,
circle.
yeah, from parts of the town
Mm,
where we're going to see
a
things in the
route.
form of a circle.
Okay.
And I told her my brain doesn't work that way. Could you please change the shape for me? And she was confused. She's like, what do you mean shape? I was like, can you take that circle and turn it into a triangle? Right? 3 points. That way I can see it on the map and I can figure out the streets and I can be more like in tone with direction that we're going and more aware of my surroundings. And she
Uh-huh.
doesn't get it. And it's hard to explain it any other way. I just see the world in triangles. Okay. Point A, B, and C. Right. And
Hmm.
I am flexible with between points of point A and B and point B and C. If it's not a complete triangle, that's fine, but a circle doesn't have any points of pressure where you can stop somewhere, right?
Hmm.
and take a good look. But three specific points works for me in my head. And then she asked, she's like, well, what if 2 points are really close to each other? And I'm like, then make a long triangle. Because I think she's talking about like a piece of the bridge and then the other side of the bridge and
Uh-huh.
then somewhere like in the woods, but it's not that far away. It's like 10 steps to the left or something like that. On Google Maps, in real life, it's probably 50 meters.
Yeah.
And she's just like, okay, da-da-da. And then she showed me, and I'm like, thank you. This is
Yeah,
perfect. This is
but
gonna be.
you took the chance that you weren't that you felt like you weren't like she was not going to humiliate you. So you took a chance like, hey, like this would help me out. Are you willing to give
And
me
she
some
did,
grace?
and she did.
Yeah.
Just so she just it wasn't hard for her
No,
to
I
hear
get
me.
that. I get that. And like, I don't know, I feel like it's our age that has to deal with it, dude. Like those relationships, we had different prerogatives. We were trying to be the best of the best person, best possible version of ourselves and everything, and we didn't want any shame. Like we can't let them know that we sometimes miss the toilets, that sometimes we sit on our nuts, sometimes we fucking stub our toe, sometimes we get drunk too much, stuff like that. But now we're at that point, like we're past our 20s, and we're just like, I just want somebody that's gonna fucking accept me for who I am. I'm tired of fucking putting on this front, you know? Like. I get that. I get that. Like, ask, like, you probably felt that was a little hard for you to ask because you're like, it sounds stupid. I know it does, but
I said that too. I said
yeah.
that too. It's like I understand if you don't understand. It's just the way I see a map.
Hmm.
And she
Just
was like,
trust me
okay.
that I know that this will help me, and if you are willing to do it, it will help our future discussions. And that's a stepping stone. Like that, I feel like that's just something that we get in our age. I mean, I don't know. I feel like this would be something to talk to Gavin with because he's got a different perspective since him and Emily have been together like the whole time. And I don't really have any stories of Gavin dating before Emily.
They've been together 25 years, right?
Not 25 years. They've been together since junior year, I think. So it's been about 15 years.
Junior year was 2006 or 2007, wasn't
No, it
it?
wasn't, dude. We graduated in 2011. So that would have been 2008 and 9.
That
Gavin's year,
would
because
be
Emily is a
that.
year ahead of
Oh,
him. Emily's older than Gavin by like a year, I think. But no, I'd really like to well, I mean, Gavin's ready to get back on here anyway, so I'll coordinate with him and like I'll write down this question and we can ask him as well. Because like, I mean, it is good perspective to have, man. Like things are changing, and I feel like that's just it. The more you notice, the better you're gonna be. Like I'm happy for you and Bernadette. It feels like you guys are better matched.
it wasn't an easy year. There was a lot of stiff scenarios, but we were able to figure it out to this
Hmm.
point, and we're strong.
And yeah, it's crazy, man. Because like as far as my relationship, like I'm loving how it's going. I'm confident about it. It's definitely a weird one. Like having to deal with her ex living in the backyard. By the way, an update, they have not gotten evicted yet. They're still living in that house behind us. So that's fun to deal with. But fucking I don't know, I was cleaning the girl's bedroom out last night and I was in their closet and found a photo from like I want to say 2016 when the 9
Okay.
year old was less than it had to have been like right around her first birthday. And I just see them. And I see Sammy and the girl's father, and like he actually looks healthy. Like
Okay.
He doesn't look like he's done a drug in his life except for maybe smoked a joint
Oh,
or something. And
oh,
like I can actually see the resemblance between him and the youngest because that's the running joke right now is that he doesn't claim the youngest because he never related to her because he wanted a boy. And his father is German and fucking basically
oh.
snipped his nuts whenever he found out that his firstborn was a daughter. So he's got that kind of shit going on. But like I just felt sorry for him, man. Like I'm at this point where I'm like I recognize that the 9-year old she loves him and I'm not going to take that away from her. There's no reason to and I still feel sorry for her. Like she's still going through the shit like her dad might as well have died already. Like she's going through the drama no different except for the fact that she has to see him at the grocery store or on the sidewalk or something and she can't go hang out with him. He's
That's
posting
tragic.
stuff on Facebook like, "Oh, it's been June since last saw my kids," but I'm like sitting here I'm like, "Dude, you haven't even fucking asked. You're
Also,
living
you live
right
next
behind
door.
us. You haven't asked." What'd you say?
You live right next door, man.
Dude, yeah, I'm like, he lives right next door, but he's too busy back there doing drugs with his new girlfriend and
Oh my
everything.
God. This is so sad. I'm so
It is
sorry.
sad because, like, I really just want to walk over there to him, like, dude, man, fucking
What
start
are
cleaning
you
up.
doing?
It's like I'm
Oh
sitting here, like,
God.
I'm trying to be the best dude I can. Like the last thing I want is like I don't like I just want to tell him, I'm like, dude, I want you to know my life will be a lot easier if I can like you. I'm not sitting here purposely looking for a reason to not like you. I'm not
Mm.
trying to make my
Well,
life
maybe
more
you should
difficult.
try that. Why don't you try and give an olive branch out, or is it just too far gone from whatever he's using?
I don't think he'll take it the right way. I think he'll take it as an attack.
There's got to be a way where it doesn't look like an attack. No, there's some people that only see attacks. We're too
Yeah,
old for being
because
that
it's like I
naive.
mean, Sammy's to the point where like she for her own mental sake she just can't deal with him, but she still has to because she has kids with
He
him. We
lives
have
next
to be
door.
civil. We can't just like as much as we want and as much as he wants to just give up his parental rights, it doesn't happen like that. You can't just wipe that shit away with a wave of a pen. But I don't know, man. It's crazy because like I know at the end of the day, all he needs is some confidence. But he's sitting over there acting like I'm never gonna see my kids again. Life is too hard. Basically suicidal, but he's not. He doesn't want to fight with it. He doesn't want to fight for these kids. He wants to avoid child support. When I'm like that's why I won't reach out to Olive Branch because he's not in the mental state to start climbing again. He's still sitting in that pit.
He's not all the way at the bottom yet.
And I'm only gonna get one chance. So I feel like I need to reserve that for a moment when he's actually starting to try and climb.
I can only hope that he doesn't die before it's too late.
That's what I mean, it kind of slipped like a week or two ago that like, yeah, if he keeps doing that, he's gonna die. And I said it in front of the 9-year-old and she started crying, but I think it hit home for her.
That
And
was rough. You got to be careful with that kind of conversations around kids. Their brains are still developing. You don't want to accidentally traumatize them for some shit like that. Not at that age. They don't deserve that, no matter how cruel these fucked up kids are.
yeah, I get that, but I'm also not gonna shield her from it. Nobody's shielding
No,
me.
just be careful with your words. It's the same when you try and tell a kid that Santa Claus isn't real or, oh
Well, how would
God,
you deal with that? I mean, how would you
the
deal with
truth
it
of the matter is,
if you had to tell David that his mother was on hard drugs?
I would tell him that your mother is very sick and
It's
I
sick to the
cannot
point
give
where
her,
she cannot be around him.
hold on. The way I would go about it, I would tell him just from the get go, I'm like, there's David, your mother loves you, but she is very sick and we have to bring her to the people that can help her. We
Hmm.
have to. And I don't know how long it's going to be until she's no longer this sick. And she may never be fully okay again, but we love her and we're going to do this.
Hmm.
And he's going to cry and he's going to bitch and he's not going to understand. And I'm going to tell him, it's your mom. We got to. She's part of the village. And he'll eventually let it go in some way. And he'll have questions days after that. What made her sick? Could he get sick? And I just answer him one by one. No,
Yeah.
David, you can't get sick from what she has. Sometimes it's in the heart, sometimes it's in the head, sometimes it's both. It happens to some people. The hospital is there for a reason.
Yeah.
And
And
he'll ask other questions, and eventually he'll just be able to wear himself to the idea that she's sick. I
yeah.
don't need to explain that there the drugs or anything involved because he's not at that age yet where he's prepared to even understand what that means.
No, I mean she's at the like by no means have we like just abruptly did it just to fucking get one up on him or anything. But she asked question and everything. Like whenever she like she wanted to call him and because one of the family friends just passed away last week.
Mm-hmm.
He had an ulcer in his stomach and it burst and it didn't go well for him. So we had to figure out a way how to tell her, and then we did, and then she was worried about her father, and we told her that we had already called him yesterday and made sure that his girlfriend was there to support him and make sure that he wasn't alone and everything. And it's stuff like that. But then she's like, I want to talk to him. And I'm like, I had to tell Sammy, I'm like, okay, we have to respect that. If she wants to talk to him, we have to give her the option to call. If he doesn't pick up, that's on him, you know. But
Just be
that's
careful
where
with your
I'm
words
at. Like,
around kids. Do not forget that.
I'm not trying to hide anything from her because I feel like, from my perspective, okay, like, let's talk about my mother. My mother was on opioids from, I mean, I don't have the facts, but just assuming she had the accident in 2002, right after 9/11, and then and then was going into surgery. So I'm assuming that she got addicted somewhere in 2002, 2003. Okay, all that time. Oh, sorry, okay. The entire time, I just looked at it like my mother is the saint, and it's the pills problem. It's the doctor's problems because they're not treating her right. But then now
Mm-hmm.
as an adult, I look back and I'm like, no, it's because she didn't listen to the doctors. She didn't do what the doctors told her. She thought that she had a better idea and that she was gonna do better than the doctor said, and it didn't go that way. And that's why I get on to my customers now that are having surgeries and everything. I'm like, if the doctor tells you not to fucking move, don't fucking move. I'm like, it's just
Be
like
careful with the medicine.
it's just like buying a car. If you don't read the instruction manuals and you do whatever the fuck you feel like and it breaks, that's on you because you
Yeah.
didn't bother to listen to the people that are trying to help you, that have the experts because you aren't comfortable with it. And me as a kid, I didn't, nobody told me anything. They just told me that she was sick, that she was in a lot of pain. And I'm just like, I didn't understand the situation and I felt helpless. And
But
I'm
that was the
like,
right thing to say.
yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, your children want to be your hero. No matter like what age they are, they just want to be there for you like you are for them. You know, they
Mm.
just want to return that favor as soon as possible. That's the feeling that I remember. And I feel like that's where she's at right now. She wants to help her father, and I feel for her. And I want her to make sure that she knows what's going on, to the best of her ability. Like, no,
Of
she
course.
doesn't need to know about all the the drug deals and all that, but she just needs to know this is a substance. It is illegal because it does this to people. This is why we do not accept it. This is why we do not let people just buy it
No,
willy-nilly.
you're
It's
absolutely
because it
correct.
ruins your life. You are in it, and and she sees it every time she sees him. He's lost like 75 pounds in 6 months. He's nothing but skin and bones. And he's balding and everything, and he's got acne on his face, everything. He's like fucking it's clear as day. You can't hide it from her, even if you wanted to. And that's the point that
So
I'm not gonna
tragic.
let her sit here and fucking be scratching her head like, why does he look like that? It's like, no, it's because the drugs that he's choosing to hide his pain right now. This is the reason why you cannot shrink from your responsibilities because
Mm.
every time you shrink from a responsibility, it just sits there and it gets stacked on and it weighs and it weighs and then you crack and then you can't dig yourself out because you've piled all this stuff on top of you. And it's stuff like that. It's like if I had known that, like my mother's problem is that she didn't reach out for help. And I kind of had that problem too. Like going through school, like I would sit there and torture myself to learn something new before I would ask the teacher for help and shit like that. And I used to kick my own ass for it. And it's ridiculous. But that's the programming that I inherited and shit like that. So I'm at that aspect where like, yeah, I don't want to like I'm not going to tell her how the drug deals go and everything, but I'm going to tell her what the drug is, how it affects you, why it's illegal, why you should stay away from it, and how he can help himself. Because it's just like
Really sad that a human being has to have to. I'm sorry that you have to have this conversation with her. This is very sad.
it is very sad. I mean, the only
I wish
the
you
only
the
good thing
best of
is that there
luck.
is still a chance for him to walk away. But at the same time, I also recognize that that hurts even worse. It like I recognize that like for me it feels worse because it's a matter of choice. Like my father died, okay? Whether it was a product of the choices that he made in his life, it's he left me and it's final. It's end. I have to fucking pick up the pieces. There's no option. But she has to live with even if he does get clean, there's a chance that it could happen again. And that
Because you
sounds
always have
terrifying.
that demon inside of him.
Yeah. And that's why I'm like, if he doesn't do it himself, it's never going to be authentic and it's always going to be a relapse possibility.
Just be very careful with your words and don't give it all to her at once. Give her
No,
pieces of it
no,
in
I mean,
ways
yeah,
where she
like
can
it's taken about three
absorb it.
months to finally tell her that, yeah, he's on drugs again because we couldn't hide it from her anymore. He'd lost all that weight and he's living right behind us.
Oh God.
And then it's
I'm
like,
so sorry, Rodney.
yeah, it sucks, man. It really does suck because, like, at the end of the day, I just wish that he would fucking be her father because I feel like that's a great way to live. It's so much easier for her to have two fathers than to fucking sit here and just have to deal with a stepfather. Oh, because I mean, I feel for her. Like I see that bond that she has with him, and he's influenced her so much. It's to the point like that's the frustrations daily that we have with her is his influence on her. The shit
Mm.
that she says, like I've gotten it's to the point where she always has to say heck. Like, what the heck is that? I'm like, why couldn't you just ask what is that? Why did you have to put heck in there? Like, it's a fucking crayon. You've seen them all day.
Oh
Like, why do
man.
you got to be so extra? But then I'm just like, oh, it's because that's all that she fucking hears.
Hmm.
Shit
Got
like
it.
that. But I don't know, man. Like, I feel like that's the beauty of having children and fucking raising them. Like,
It
it
is
it
the most
counterbalances
amazing
the
thing.
loss.
It's the most amazing thing that could ever happen to you, while simultaneously it's one of the most incredibly painful experiences that does not stop. Whether it's a good day or a bad day, your anxiety and your stress and your adrenaline is always up to here because it has to be for you to make sure that nobody fucking dies.
Yeah. Like that's what I got into last night, man. I was just I got to like I think I already talked to you a little bit on about it off air. Like I just got to my boiling point this week with her. It's like as soon as she enters the room, it's like I can't avoid being annoyed by her presence. It's like she's purposely trying to annoy us. Like the bullshit that she got out of the shower and I told her to take the buckets to the garage and then I find her outside soaking wet, shoveling snow when it's fucking 17 degrees Fahrenheit outside. I'm like, "You fucking moron, get your ass inside right now. What the fuck are you thinking? I know your mother has taught you this shit. You
Oh
are going to get
man.
sick." And like yeah, I just sent her to bed because I'm like I can't talk anymore. Like I was to the point like I felt the tears welling up. I was so enraged. I'm like, how are you fucking with me right now? Are you fucking with me right now?
Probably. Probably. Probably, man.
And then yeah, and then oh my gosh, bro. It was just like, okay. And then like last night, well, I woke up at like 4 o'clock this morning and went out and played some games because I couldn't get back to sleep. And I was just thinking, I'm like, I'm gonna take the route where I'm just gonna dial it back. I'm gonna stop treating her like she's a 13-year-old and just start treating her like she's a 7-year-old. And I feel like my frustration is because I keep trying to get her to be responsible, but then I'm just like, okay, I don't really have that much experience with 9-year-olds. Maybe I'm just giving them too much credit.
Listen, if worse comes to worse, I know that there's an area in Istanbul, a very quiet area where you can sell the children for cheap. Just in case you need the address or
I better
something,
get
I
more
got
than
you,
it
bro.
costs for the plane ticket.
Listen, all I'm saying is you can discreetly get rid of your kid in Istanbul. It'll be
Fuck
fine,
it.
man. You'll have
She's
a
in
good
the
life
fourth
till you
grade. We
survive.
get free trips. We get free entrance to any of the national parks. We can just drop her off there. She can go live with the buffalo.
Well, all right, Rodney. I gotta call this one now. I think we've made it to the hour part.
We got about 5 more minutes, but we can shorten it up. Okay. Well, yeah, that's a good place to leave it, brother.
Yeah, because
Uh,
we
kids are
got what we
crazy.
needed off our chest. Thanks for hearing me out. If my ex-wife is listening to this, I was not in any way, shape, or form trying to be
You were fair.
disrespectful to you.
You were fair.
To you and me, maybe. I'm just
I feel like
saying
it was fair.
you and
Like we
I are
all have
good.
our problems. You talked about the bullshit that you did. I mean,
Yeah.
you fucking acknowledge that you're childish, that you don't have the same mindset or the priorities aren't the same, you know. And I feel like it's good that you can recognize that afterwards because it means that you're actually growing. Like, I don't know. That's what I tell this 9-year-old every day. I'm like, it's okay for you to make mistakes. That's what I want you to do. I purposely give you tasks that are more difficult than what you're accustomed to because I want you to have the room to be able to grow on your own without me having to give you the idea. I want you to make the idea your own first. And then if you need help, I'll jump in and help. But it's like whenever you're not learning from your mistakes, that's whenever you're just fucking doomed to repeat them.
Ain't that the truth?
You're gonna find the
But
same
all
person
right.
with the same problems. All right, we'll
Oh.
end it on that. All right, guys. Avia, you got a special message to end on? Let's try and make this a good show. Like just a quote or something. Something for the listeners to think
Um,
about.
be curious, not judgmatic. Ted Lasso, season 2.
All right, you heard it from the man himself. Be curious, not judgmental.
There you go.
All right. With that, guys, we'll leave you till the next time. All right, brother. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.